right, we said we get to some Lion stuff. 37-24, how would you characterize that game for Detroit?
A little sloppy. And I'm okay with it because I expected some sloppiness with the change in offensive tackle on the left side with Giovanni Manu getting the start over Taylor Decker, who was downgraded to doubtful before the game and then obviously ruled out. So taking their time with Decker to give him another week off from the shoulder, I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. They just get by with a win. They did. They won handily. Things weren't really ever in peril, even though the Bengals scored 21 of their 24 points in the fourth quarter. But it was a little sloppy on both sides of the ball. There were some penalties that you just don't want to see. I mean, Hutchinson took away his own quarterback sack because he was lined up offside. I don't know how you line up offside when you're a defensive end, particularly the way that he lines up, because he is so far outside the tackle when he does. He's not lined up right on the tackle. He's lined up way outside. So what difference is 3 inches going to make when your first step is not contested? I don't get that.
Look, it's a frustrating penalty, and it's funny because the ball's about to be snapped, and I was watching with my wife, and I said, Aidan's offsides. And sure enough, he gets the quarterback sack, nullified by his own penalty. Later, he had a quarterback sack for safety, nullified by a holding call on Terrion Arnold. He eventually got a sack, which he probably, when he got Browning to the ground, he probably looked around and said, is there a flag on this one too? But bottom line is he's got elite edge rusher skills, clearly. The Lions are first in the NFC in quarterback sacks and second in the NFL in quarterback sacks, which is really reassuring, and it might free them up to not have to go get another edge rusher at the trade deadline and go address something else, like the cornerback spot. How you feeling about Terrion Arnold?
I was actually, and I'm glad somebody, I think it was Colton Pouncey, put out there, after looking at the All-22 tape, and he was encouraged by it. And I was a little bit too, because he had that play where he got flagged for
holding. You didn't like
for
the call.
Defensive holding. I didn't like the call.
I thought it was a legit call, but
it may have been legit. I didn't like it. I thought, okay, that's one can go either way. Obviously, it went that way. But what happened after that is what mattered. And what happened after that was he made a couple of plays breaking up passes. And I think you saw a lot more of that from him, which is good news. I think it was, like I said, I think it's encouraging how he recovered from the mistake. And it was a borderline mistake at best anyway. I thought it was a good game for him going against, at any time you're going to have to face Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. I thought he fared pretty well in the game.
Well, I would argue that the penalty also mattered. But at the end of the day, I want to see him take over and show he's CB1 capable. What he is he's a good tackler. I'll give him that. I don't feel like he's getting better this year. And, I'd be intrigued to hear what the coaches had to say in a honest evaluation of where they think he is. And at what point, if he doesn't get better, and look, I don't think he's terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but he might be the guy that just gets picked on the most back there.
I think
they're still winning games by 2 scores. So, I mean, we got to talk about something. Look, because not everything's perfect.
No, it's not. And he's got to get better. But, Meek Robertson got burned big time by Jamar Chase. It was T. Higgins, I think. I forget which one it was, that just burned him deep for the touchdown, bought the move, and he was wide open. But getting back to that sequence of events, it was Cincinnati's 5th drive.
Yep.
And the safety was called back due to the holding on Tyrion Arnold. Next play, pass breakup Arnold. Next play, pass breakup by Arnold. 3rd and 10, false start makes it 3rd and 15. Then the interception by Kirby Joseph, who stepped in front of Terrion Arnold, who was going to pick it off anyway. Would have been interesting to see if Arnold picks that ball off. If you go back and watch that play, if Arnold picks the ball off instead of Kirby Joseph, Arnold's coming the other way and has room to have a return, whereas Joseph caught it and then went down kind of immediately there. But that's 3 plays in a row right after the defensive holding that they went to pick on Terrion Arnold, and he stood up to the bully and played well.
Should he have intercepted one of the ones before that 3rd one?
I can't remember.
I thought one of them was in his hands.
I just remember what I put in my notes here. That's what
I'm I feel like we've been pretty patient with him. I'd like just to see him take some steps forward.
I think there were steps forward yesterday.
I hope you're right. 248-539. I'm not as convinced, but 248-539-9797.
I have one other play that was kind of confusing to me. Maybe it's easily explained away by a rule if you understand the rule. The fumble that Goff had when he got hit by Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Right before he fumbles, Hendrickson comes around the side, smacks Goff in the back of the helmet, clear as day. And then the arm comes down and hits Goff and hits his elbow a little bit as Goff's getting ready to throw into fumbles. Should that have been called, illegal use of hands to the helmet?
It
wasn't to the face, but it was to the helmet. You're not supposed to touch a quarterback's head, right?
Yeah, I think it wouldn't. I don't know if it'd be illegal use of hands. Would it be
just roughing or something?
Roughing or unnecessary roughness?
But should that have been a penalty? I mean, he clearly hits him and belts him in the back of the head. Which
funny, I didn't notice that in the time. Kang, did you?
Yeah, I didn't either. But if he did, Gator, it should be a penalty. But I think they missed it, just like they missed the one where Hutchinson got clearly, Browning in the face as well. I mean, some of those are glances where the umpire back there just doesn't see it, because I think they just missed it then. Because you're not supposed to be able to hit the quarterback in the helmet at all.
I mean, it's clear. If you can find a highlight of the Goff fumble, it's clear as day. He just smacks him in the back of the helmet and then continues on with the play. And, Goff did not. We can ask Jared tomorrow about that play if that obviously gets startled by hitting in the back of the head.
Yeah. We also had the weird safety kick with the unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no plausible reason why that is called unsportsmanlike conduct.
I don't. It's just,
why is it called that? I get that you have to, even on the safety kick, if you declare you're going to onside kick it, you have to kick it in that zone. And they were trying to onside kick it, and so they had to kick it in the zone, but they kicked it over. They had a 15-yard landing zone. They kicked it over that. And so it was half the distance of the goal from spot of the foul, which is where he kicked it, which was the 20. And so it went to the 10, and the Lions got a first and goal from the 10.
Yeah, I wasn't sure on that one either. I thought, okay, is this just a ruling because on a normal kickoff, if you don't kick it in the zone, it's basically get the ball 35, right? So that's the 35 yards. And then you take the half the distance part, but what you're saying, I guess, makes even more sense.
The rule book says it's half the distance from the spot of the foul. But why is it called unsportsmanlike conduct?
Not playing by the rules?
Yeah, but every flag is not playing by the rules.
I don't know. I was expecting to see like a clip of somebody flipping off a Lions player or kicking him in the nuts or something like that. I mean, when you hear unsportsmanlike conduct, these are things that I'm not thinking of. Oh yeah, you just kicked it to the wrong area.
So the one thing about that game is, even though Cincinnati came back and made it close-ish, I never felt threatened. And I felt like the Lions, when they did get close-ish, the Lions just went right back down the field and scored. And said, all right, we got work to do here. And they went right down the field. And that was the Tesla touchdown. It basically put it out of reach. But I didn't feel threatened at all. And I know, people look at that team and go, they stink. And the morning show was flooded with people saying that the Lions haven't played anybody this year. And I'm like, well, they went from having what everybody talked about as the toughest schedule in the NFL to haven't played anybody. Okay. But I get it. Chicago's not great. Cleveland's not great. But suddenly we're dismissive of Lamar. The win over Lamar and the Ravens doesn't mean anything.
Well, I mean, it's the point of the season where everybody sucks, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe give the Lions credit for being the team that broke the Ravens. I know the Ravens are,
there it is.
They're all injured this past weekend, but maybe they did something where the Ravens can't recover, because what we always talk about, one of the Lions' superpower is they always bounce back, right? They have this ability to flush any yuck, throw it out the garbage game, and just come back and be the Lions. Some teams don't have that ability. Maybe that's what they did to the Ravens.
The Honolulu flu effect is, how do teams play after they play the Lions? Well, take a look at how those teams have played after they play the Lions. It's been rough.
I'm definitely interested to see this game Sunday night at Kansas City, when they have to take on a better quarterback and a good team in the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, Jared Goff will join us tomorrow. Also, Dan Campbell will be on the morning show. And we got Tiger baseball tomorrow. Wow, a lot going on. Is there a change ahead for the Tigers? There very well might be. We will get to that today at 102 here on Karsch and Anderson on 97.1 The Ticket.